Riu Palace Costa Rica, just the facts. 538 rooms, built in 2012, slated for a remodel sometime after Riu Guanacaste. Located in the Guanacaste region, about 45 minutes from Liberia Airport, all ages, family friendly. Riu Palace, Costa Rica, finally, I'm here. Been looking forward to this one for about 18 months. We're doing it. We're diving right into the video. I cannot tell you what room this is because this room I did not book. I booked the cheapest room available, but the cheapest room this is not. I don't know why I'm speaking like a 15th century poet, but this is, I think, an actual suite, not a junior suite, but a suite. A few things make me think that. Number one, the added space, which is needed for the steps which lead into the sunken living room. So two things right there, the added space, the sunken living room. Number three would be the bidet. Now this is not gonna win any technological competitions, nor is it really even functional, but the effort was there originally. And the last one would be the wraparound balcony, a complete and legit wraparound balcony. Lines the entire perimeter of the room, full 180 degrees. One side does not have the best views. It's a view of Riu Guanacaste, probably about 100 rooms you're looking into that are looking right back at you. But the other side is where the views are at. Never-ending views of courtyards, oceans, and mountains. This room isn't perfect. It does have a few drawbacks. Number one would be the smell. Bit musty, bit pungent, bit damp. You do get that smell from time to time in the Caribbean. Number two would be the minibar. Again, just way understocked, even for a Riu. Number three would be the mattress. I think I'm gonna sleep on the couch or maybe even the floor. The one over at Guanacaste was much better. Of course, you got the four horsemen. This one is not as weird as the one over at Guanacaste. You got a scotch, a rum, a gin, and a vodka. I really liked dinner last night, but not for the reason you would think. I'm often critical of these all-inclusive restaurants. I find the style to be bland, boring, and boxy. And this shape was worse. It was a rectangle. But considering the size and the space, and considering that this is a Riu, I thought the decor was very apropos and actually very stylish and in vogue. It was cool and modern and approachable. It felt like a chic eatery that you would not find in maybe Tokyo, but LA, Miami. I like the elevated seating, the artwork, the lighting, tall ceilings, great atmosphere. Again, given the size and given the shape, I thought that it was pretty exceptional. The food, it was Riu. So the sun is pretty much going away. That's my cue to leave. Spent a couple hours out here. It's very similar to what's going over down the way at Guanacaste. In fact, it's one unified beach. But here's one thing I did not mention in that video that is worth mentioning. In fact, it's imperative. This beach is scorching. The sand, that is. It will burn your feet. It is dark. It's thick. It retains a lot of heat because of its material. And it will literally light up your feet if you don't have sandals on. So that is something to definitely pay attention to. There is seating here. It's the most eclectic seating I've ever seen at any Riu beach, just kind of intermingled among the woods. It is woods, not palm trees. This beach is not a looker, as I mentioned in my other video. The sand does kind of grow on you after a while because it is volcanic or because it is dark. It does have a nice shimmering effect when the tide is really low. The cliffs and really the background is what is going to blow your mind. The views are insane. Overall, though, this is definitely a pool-forward property. So things got obnoxious, or I got obnoxious at the buffet last night with the desserts. There were too many, and then I got really creative with the chocolate fountain. It just wasn't enough to have the strawberries and the marshmallows and really any fruit that you wanted dunked in chocolate. I had to have a champagne glass of an Oreo sundae underneath chocolate. It was quite indulgent and quite embarrassing at the same time. Also, the heated brownies underneath the flame, so moist and succulent and just incredible. If Riu did the entire property, every property, as well as they did the desserts, I wonder what the hotel would be like. I mean that in the best way possible. It would be phenomenal. I tried to go back to the buffet this morning. I didn't get there right away when they opened, and that was a major problem. There was a line wrapped around literally the front of the building, like wrapped around all the way to the entrance. I've never ever seen a wait line at a Riu buffet before. Usually that's a last resort when all the other restaurants are booked. Even that restaurant was booked. You couldn't even get a table. Switched up to a liquid diet, got a couple cappuccinos at the coffee shop. And then after that, I went back to the room and had some hot tub action, waited out the clouds. The sun is out in full force. It's absolutely radiant. It is the most beautiful day I've seen in Costa Rica up until this point. I declare today pool day. There are at least 4, if not 5. Then after that, steakhouse. Then after that, nightlife at the lobby bar, and then the nightclub. Okay, I need to make this update very quick. I just woke up from a hardcore nap. In fact, I'm barely awake. I need to get to dinner fast. If I'm not there by 5:30, I know that I won't get seated for 5:45. There will be a line, I promise. Just wait. The pools are the reason I'm so tired. I actually did every single one twice today. It's a tale of two cities, really. On the first go around, I saw every one and spent some time at each one, but not as much as I would have liked, and the clouds and sun were not getting along with each other. That, the cloud cover, as well as the chaos, really kind of made me retreat. When the pools are frenetic here at Riu Palace, it does not feel like a Riu Palace. It feels more like Guanacaste. And it just didn't feel like a traditional Riu Palace setup. So I retreated. I came back out later when the sun was out. And it's almost like the sunlight, I want to say disinfected, but that's going to sound bad. But it's almost like the sunlight cleansed the chaos. When I came back out, not only was it gorgeous, the Riu Palace pools were much more Riu Palace-esque. They were calmer, they were tranquil, they were serene, and because of that, it felt more palatial, it felt more sophisticated, it felt more distinguished. This is one of the coolest and most unique and brilliant pool designs at a Riu I've come across. Anytime you go to a Riu, the staple of the grounds is the fountain. And this fountain actually segues and transitions into the main pool. And then that main pool acts as a fountain towards the next pool, and they all kind of segue into each other. It is one of the most brilliant and unique and creative and cool Riu pool designs I have come across up until this point. And looking back, after all the palaces I've been to, I'm not sure why more are not designed like this, because they easily could be. I guess I wasn't necessarily totally accurate. This pool does have another side to it. A third side. It's, I guess, a tale of 3 cities, or 3 faces. And hopefully I'll get a chance to show it to you tomorrow. So the steakhouse is situated in the identical spot as the Guanacaste one. It is decorated the exact same. So no creativity in terms of the overall ambience and feel. The menu was different and the food was different, which I'll probably explain in a breakdown video. It was a good meal. I will suffice it at that. I am not going to do an entertainment show tonight. I just don't have it in me, patience or ambition. But what I do have in me is some nightlife. We're doing a lobby bar and a discotheque. Those bartenders were super cool. Like, my favorite staff members at this entire complex by far. Really friendly, warm, outgoing, professional, creative. I asked for something unique, authentic, gorgeous, and each one took it upon themselves to make me something. They kind of competed against each other to see who could make the better drink, and it was the perfect outcome because one was the winner in terms of aesthetics and the other was the winner in terms of taste or deliciousness. The crowd was really fun, warm, outgoing, friendly as well. Great action all the way up until midnight, and it was a nice reprieve from the usual and sometimes overwhelming all ages crowd that I've had throughout these entire 6 nights here. So great place to hang out before midnight, but after midnight, after the clock strikes 12 and then some, only 2 options here. One, sports bar. We've done that already. The other, the discotheque. Huge news, breaking news. I can't believe it. Blow your mind news on a discotheque. I'll get to that here in just a second. I had 2 main goals this morning. Number 1 was to hit the breakfast buffet, got that done. And number 2 was to kind of show you what I was alluding to yesterday in terms of the third side of these pools. I wanted to walk them personally so I could kind of highlight the main points. But after the buffet, it was landscaper's paradise, which kind of detracted from what I was ultimately trying to highlight. So here are my favorite shots from both the pools this morning as well as the buffet. I'll come back here and wrap up this video. So very quickly, the pools in the mornings are a spiritual experience when there isn't a soul out there and you can actually hear the water. Everything is just still, placid, serene, tranquil. The mornings have been really the best times to go out to the pool in terms of sun action. And when you're there right away, the sun is hitting it just in such a beautiful, gorgeous manner. The rays reflect off and then back into the building. You're waking up with the jungle, you're waking up with the scenery. It's, again, a religious experience, really. Very quickly, the club. What makes it so interesting? Why did I walk in and walk out the night before? What is the breaking news? Well, I walked in and walked out because I didn't have my wallet. And at this discotheque, at this Riu, you have to pay for every drink. I thought this was an all-inclusive. How many Rius have I done just this year? Never have I encountered anything like that. That is, man, that's more than offensive. And as far as the buffet, it was, well, besides embarrassingly broadcasting my public need for Eaters Anonymous, it was one of the better Riu buffets I've ever been to. Besides having one of the widest selections I've ever seen, it had options I've never seen at any Riu before, such as the strawberry-covered waffles, the banana top French toast, the pistachio donuts, and of course, the authentic Costa Rican dishes. In terms of negatives and positives, let's get the negatives out of the way. The first one would be the beach. Purists will love it because of the black volcanic sands, the authentic vibes, and the jaw-dropping backdrops. But compared to other Pacific locations, and especially compared to Caribbean destinations, the beach at Riu Palace Costa Rica is a buzzkill. Secondly, the resort is overcrowded. Wait times at restaurants or just simply getting a seat for the buffet extended past an hour. And although I love the energy and electricity that always comes along with the Riu experience, here it was overbearing. And lastly, the third negative is differentiation. Besides aesthetic differences and contrast and design and novel things like the coffee shop, the Riu Palace Costa Rica experience was shockingly similar to Riu Guanacaste. Generally, the layout, the food quality, the restaurant options, the overall energy, the experience, they were essentially the same. So those are the negatives, but what about the positives? The first one is location. It's potentially perfect. It's one of the closest resorts to the Liberia Airport. Plus, Riu Palace Costa Rica is situated in the Guanacaste area, where most resorts are double or triple the price. And that's because of the prestige, the beauty, and the exclusivity of the overall region. The second positive is the pools. The design is one of the most creative, immersive, stylish, and sensational pool layouts I've ever seen at any Riu Palace. And lastly, the property is breathtaking, downright gorgeous. From the 24-hour lounge with its floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook the entire property, to the lush landscapes that encapsulate the entire resort, to the cascading fountains and pools that extend all the way to the beach, and overall just the profound and perhaps life-changing views from the vibrant cliffs to the overall paralyzing landscapes that are unmistakably and only Costa Rica. Ultimately, in the end, I'm rating Riu Palace Costa Rica a 3.5. Most of the drawbacks are equally offset with strong, appealing benefits, but overall the resort is more yin-yang than consistently awesome. Riu Palace Costa Rica is one of the most respected resorts in the entire Riu portfolio, and I can certainly understand why. In a couple years, after the updated rooms and a little bit of modernization, I will return, and hopefully my experience will be even better than my one that was already great.